Hello, this is Russell from Russell Tracy Photography, and today I don't really have a review or anything like that. It's just something that I found was kind of cool and interesting. This is my Canon G12. If you can see, this is a little point and shoot camera that I take around when I don't want to carry my D3 or D300 or any of the DSLRs that I have. I bought this camera a couple years ago for a couple reasons. One, it's nice camera. It's built pretty tough. But if you look here on top, it's got all the manual controls. It's got manual ISO. You can set your shutter speed. It has manual shutter priority, aperture priority. Over here, it's got exposure control, stuff like that. Hot shoe mount, which is kind of cool because I actually did a photo shoot with this just to try it. You can use it with the Pocket Wizard, and you can fire flashes with it. Shoots RAW, shoots JPEG. I always shoot RAW, so, whatever. It also does video, which is kind of cool. Last night I went down to the local amphitheater. They had Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire playing, and I'm a big fan of both. 'Cause I play guitar, I play a lot of different instruments, and they're two of my favorite bands. And for the record, they sound incredible. So if you're a fan of just good music, or if you're a fan of Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire, check them out sometime. They're not paying me to say that. I just like the band. But I took the camera because you can't take DSLRs into a lot of venues like this. Some venues, I've seen some venues, it says you can have a camera, but it can't be longer than like 4 inches in length or something like that. This particular venue has a no detachable lens, no professional cameras with detachable lenses. Cool, whatever. So I took the G12. Sitting probably about 150, 200 feet from the stage. It's a little sloped amphitheater. And here's some of the photos that I got. These are shots straight out of the camera. This is kind of a plug for getting yourself a decent point and shoot camera that you can actually do stuff with. I shot this in shutter priority, and I shot it in shutter priority because I wanted to be able to actually freeze the action, freeze the lights, freeze the musicians. I didn't want to get a lot of motion blur. If you go to a lot of concerts or look on Facebook and stuff like that, you'll see people that go to a lot of concerts and they take cell phone photos. Well, the cell phone's just auto, so it's going to do whatever it can to expose the photo correctly, quote unquote. But you see a lot of times where the musicians are out of focus and there's a lot of blur and stuff like that. Well, shooting about 150, 200 feet from the stage, I zoomed all the way in, and I kind of did this, just held the camera real steady. And I started out a little slower. I think I started at 1/80th of a second, and then I ended up moving up to 1/125th. The aperture was kind of all over the place, and the ISO, I was using auto ISO. Now I'm going to show you a couple of these photos here. First photo we got right here, this is both bands. So they started the show, both bands came out, played a couple songs, then Earth, Wind, and Fire did their set, took a little intermission, Chicago did their set, and then they all came back out and played as a band again. And it was incredible to hear both those bands playing together, because they got two bands with the best horn sections and some of the best musicians in the country, in my opinion. So this is the first one, and I really like this photo. Now these are straight out of the camera. This is just the raw photos. You can kind of see the crowd down here at the bottom, right down here at the bottom. You can see the crowd, but this was shot at ISO 500, 30.5 millimeter f4.5 at 1/80th of a second. Now you can see he's kind of overexposed, but overall there's really good exposure. You got these cool lights. You can actually see the beams of the lights and stuff like that. They're crisp. But the really neat thing is, if I zoom into 100% here, 1:1, I mean, that's pretty good in my opinion. I mean, it's not great. It's not super spectacular. I mean, couldn't sell these photos or anything. Well, I'm sure somebody would try, but for sitting 200 feet away, I mean, it's kind of noisy, but I can get over that. But overall, the camera did incredibly well. I mean, it really surprised me. Here's the Chicago set, and then Earth, Wind, and Fire over here. But we'll run through some of these, and the colors. I mean, this is pretty much what it was looking like, color-wise, and stuff like that. Again, pretty decent as far as sharpness goes, clarity, color is amazing. It's got those really nice yellow lights. Let me go back to that one once my computer catches up here. You got these real cool yellow lights coming down. This is them saying, hey, we're done, we're gonna have Earth, Wind, and Fire come out. But the camera, now this one's not the greatest, but I liked this one because I wanted to show you guys this one because these were all LEDs, obviously. These are like giant screens, and they had the live photo or live video. And between the super dark over here and like the lighting and everything, like super dark in the background, and then these really bright LEDs, the camera didn't like overcompensate. I mean, this is a little blown out, but still he's in good exposure, and you can even see the video screen is in good exposure, and all these guys in the background, you can still see them pretty well. I mean, here's the drummer and the keyboardist, stuff like that. Another like real dark, but it did a good job getting these darks, these details in the darks, and still not really super overexposing or underexposing anything other than the crowd up front, because obviously there's no light. This is the first this Chicago set. Again, I was really impressed. Now, a lot of times when you take photos of screens, you get crazy stuff going on in the screens here, lines and stuff like that. But again, real nice exposure. I mean, I keep going back to that. Overall, this camera did remarkably well. I really didn't expect to get anything that I could even say, hey, I went to the show, but I figured I'd take it anyway. Now, I know a lot of these, the horizons are jacked on them, and the compensation wasn't great because I was kind of holding it at a weird angle. But this was more, I just wanted to show you guys. Here's a really super bright one. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the background, but everything is still really good, really nice detail. I could not crop them, but straighten them up with the stage and stuff like that, what I'll probably do before. It's kind of a crazy one with purples. I've never really had a good luck with purples or reds, but they turned out pretty good. Still pretty sharp. And this is when both bands came back out and they were playing each other's songs. It's pretty cool. A lot of real bright light up here that it did a really good job exposing for. So again, as we get to the end of this, and this is the very end, Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. So this is the full band saying goodnight. Again, this wasn't a plug for the camera. I mean, do what you want to do, buy whatever camera, but I was just really impressed at the overall quality and how well this thing performed. I mean, obviously it's not the greatest. I mean, it's kind of noisy. It's, sitting 200 feet away, it's not the sharpest, but still, I mean, these are fairly usable. I mean, I would post these up on Facebook or something like that saying I'm going to post them up on Facebook saying, hey, this is the concert I went to last night. So if you guys are, the point of this, if you guys are looking for a camera, get yourself a decent camera. like a decent little point and shoot. It's going to be better than your phone. This thing fits in my pocket. I know they got a lot of mirrorless stuff coming out now. I've never really messed with it, but still can't really beat a good point and shoot. Plus, like I said, Canon G12, all the functions and stuff like that. I can easily use this for a regular photo shoot, and I have before, and they turned out really good. So I'm gonna straighten some of these up, and I'll throw them up on my blog, just so you can guys take a look at them for yourself. Tell me what you guys think. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions. This has been Russell from Russell Tracy Photography. Have a good day.